Okay, welcome back to Shark Week, where we are going to be reviewing Jaws 2. Now, here's the thing about Jaws 2. Going into this, I knew nothing. Not a damn thing, because everyone talks about the first Jaws, because it's one of the greatest movies ever made. Steven Spielberg, John Williams, oh my god, it's a fantastic film. Talk about 3 and Revenge because, oh my god, they're some of the worst movies ever made. 3D Shark, oh no, that's terrible. Why is there Shark Up Revenge? That sucks. But no one says anything about Jaws 2. Like, nothing. There's nothing. And so that's why, out of all the Jaws movies going into this, I knew nothing. And it was nothing. I didn't even know nothing about any story. Nothing. Alright? So the story is about the same as the first, I guess. People enjoying some swimming times. A shark comes along. A sheriff or a chief says, hey, there's a shark. Mayor doesn't believe him. And people get killed by a shark because of it. Same story beats, but different characters and so on and so forth. So we have some returning characters and actors. We have Roy Scheider, Lorraine Gary, and Murray Hamilton returning to play Martin Brody, Ellen Brody, and the Mayor. And of course the characters of Mike and Sean Brody, now played by different actors. And Mike is considerably older now. He's like a teenager, where he was 10 in the first one. There's only returning characters. They were going to bring back Hooper, but Richard Dreyfuss refused to be in the movie because Spielberg wasn't involved, so he wasn't in it. They do write his character off by saying that he's in Antarctica, so that's why he's not in the movie. Basically what it is that the shark shows up again, and it's killing people for the first half hour of the film, disappears for 40 minutes, and then comes back, because 40 minutes of this film dedicated to the drama and the trauma of Martin Brody from the first film. He's trying, he's investigating what's going on. He's trying to figure out exactly what's going on. He tries to tell, they find a whale, an orca whale, beached on the beach. Duh. But, and then, there might be shark. You have a shark expert come in, and she's like, oh, check the bite radius and stuff, but you still don't think it's a shark. There's a scene earlier on in the film that I think is the most ridiculous scene in this film because it makes no sense. But it's the only scene that really doesn't make any sense. And there's this lady, she's on a boat, shark comes up, and it starts to hit the boat or whatever. So she decides that she's going to try to set it on fire, blow it up, or whatever, but she starts pouring the gasoline on herself. And then she lights a flare gun, and she basically blows herself up. She kills herself to hurt this shark, which only gets a scar on the side of its face, on its eye area or whatever, and then the jaw, top of the jaw there, which becomes a signature look for the shark in this movie, I guess. And then, Brody's out to find that something happened. Of course, people won't believe him. And then there's a moment where he thinks that he's a shark, but it's a school of bluefish, which I've never heard of before this. Bluefish. Sounds very generic. We can't actually say the name of a fish here. I'll just say bluefish. If that's a real fish, then that's fine, but never heard of it before. And there's a new guy here besides the mayor. He's played by he's not in here. Joseph Moscato. He played Stefano Demera on Days of Our Lives. And before you ask, how do you know that? My mother and my grandmother watched that show back in the day, so that's how I know. But he's in this, and the weirdest thing is when the apology comes, right? Once they realize that the shark is real, and the apology is needed, it's not the mayor that apologizes, it's this guy. And it's just like, why is he apologizing? What happened to the mayor? Because the last time we seen the mayor is just before Sheriff Brody gets fired. Then we never see him in the movie again. And then this guy shows up, and he's apologizing to Mrs. Brody. I'm sorry, I was wrong, I was sorry, but why are you apologizing? Did the mayor get fired off screen? He deserves it. But like, why wasn't he fired off screen in between films? Because other than, oh, we got Murray Hamilton back, why wasn't he fired? Because it's like, he's responsible for the deaths of the people in the first film because he wouldn't listen. And he didn't learn his lesson because he's getting warned again, and he still doesn't want to listen. Because tourism. It's frustrating. It really is. And, and one thing I'm confused about. So, beginning of the film, they presented this, I don't know, she's like a pageant winner or something. First of all, Sheriff Brody whistles at her. I think she's only like 16, same age as Mike. Because she's presented as a, like, love interest for Mike at the beginning of the film because they're hanging out together and stuff. And then halfway through the film, he's with some other chick who won't shut the fuck up during the freaking climax of the film. She's like the loudest, most annoying character in this film because every time the shark shows up, she just won't shut up. And she's the most overacting character in this film. Overacting actress, whatever, in this film. It's ridiculous. And I also want to call out the babysitter. Alright, so what happens is, before the morning of the climax happens, Mike gets up and basically Sean blackmails his brother. Basically, I'll be loud and wake up mom and dad. You don't let me come with you on the boat. So he does. But then they bring the babysitter in because they're going to go out. Right? Sheriff Brody just got fired, so he's not in uniform. He's in his short shorts, as you do in 1978, And, he's still driving his sheriff's car or his chief's car, whatever, chief of police car, even though that's his only vehicle maybe, but he's still driving it. And they leave a babysitter there for Sean, right? So I know there was no cell phones in 1978, but this is a small little island village. Can she get in a car, drive down to where they are and say, hey, Sean's not in the house. No, this babysitter just fucking disappears. And before you say, oh, but that's the lady on the thing with him, no, that's a different lady. That's Marge. This is a different person because the babysitter was up to the house after Sean had already left. And they didn't know that Sean was with them. If she was there, they would know that Sean was there. There's a big little twist that comes along when they find, because they're like, I gotta find my son, just one son, because they think that Mike's out there, and then he's like, Sean's with them, and the look on his face like, da-da. Yeah. And I called it, by the way. Remember, I hadn't seen anything about this, because I never heard anything about this movie, but beginning of the film, they show that there is a cable under the water, which, okay. I don't understand how that works, but I'm not an electrician, so I wouldn't know. And I'm like, gee, they're pointing this out to us, so I wonder if that's going to come in handy some point in the film, and that's how they kill the shark. They blow the fuck out of that shark, just like, and then you can tell it's fake as hell. But, just, yeah, God damn, kill that shark. Now let's talk about the direction of this film, right? The director of this film is... well, if I can find it. Jenna Schwark. Sorry if I mispronounced that, but he directed the film. I guess he was replacing someone else who didn't know what he was doing. But there are some shots in this film, like overhead shots, like chopper shots or whatever you call it, helicopter shots, that make me dizzy. Let me tell you. I was like, were they drunk when they did this? Because it's just like, nah. Imagine if I do a review, right? And you do this for like a few minutes. That's basically what it was. And it was a shot of the freaking, like, see, you're already getting dizzy, right? I'm getting dizzy. I gotta stop. But that's what it was. And I'm just like, are they drunk? Was the director drunk at this point? Which, I guess Roy Scheider had a problem with him. Fights and stuff, from what I hear. But, yeah, the score by John Williams, who did the first one. It's good. It's still good. However, I felt like the original had a very menacing type score. Here, it's very whimsical. Even when you have the shark coming, there's a certain whimsicality to it. It's like they wanted to be a little bit lighter than the first one. Which it is. This isn't as, I don't think it's as dark as the first one. Although there are some dark moments. Shark coming. And like I said, the shark shows up for like the first half hour. There's some things. Lady set herself on fire. And after that, we don't see the shark for like 40 minutes. Until we get to when it's almost time for the climax. And then people are getting like... It's still not getting picked off. And as I explained to the person who was watching it with me, that this is before Halloween. Before the slasher case. Before we had to have kills throughout the film. So it's really just... We're going to show the shark at the beginning of the film, right? We're gonna build this up. The shark is there. Audience knows it. And Brody's going to figure it out. But then we're going to have his personal drama for 40 minutes, right? Although, there was a point in the film where you had the shark, you're building tension, and it cuts to Brody coming out of the bathroom and then making faces in a vase or something, whatever, a lamp or whatever it was. And I'm just like, you don't do that. You had the shark building tension and then just cut to him coming out of the bathroom in his short shorts. And then making a in the lab. It's like, okay, I get it. You want to be a little more lighthearted, but you just ruin the tension of that scene, the shark. And then just... And there was a moment that, like, my own Blu-ray player cut the tension because if it likes sometimes to pop up and tell me I'm not connected to the internet because it has to have Wi-Fi and it must be on the Wi-Fi or it'll keep popping up, so I have to connect it. And it's just like a scene where the shark is coming and then it pops up that I need to connect it in. I'm like, oh, okay, that's great. Fine, and I gotta connect it again, but you know, oh no, it was a screensaver thing because I connected to it, and then for some reason, if I just push the home button and go back, I have to like do a certain thing for it to respond, or else it'll think it's on idle for some reason. I don't know, but it's a weird Blu-ray player. But yeah, and the movie ends. I've expressed this before in other reviews. It ends without a wrap-up scene. Wrap-up scene, yeah, like you execute the shark. Brody hugs Sean, and then credits, and it's just credits, and then additional footage, live shark footage. Bye, and the credits. It's just like there's no wraparound scene. You're not gonna have like Ellen hugging. Nope. That's it. And that ends Roy Scheider's time in the franchise because he's not in the third one. And then they announced that he was killed off in the fourth one, as far as I know. I know all about the last two. I watched various reviews on them, but I just have heard nothing about the second one. So, yeah, this was fine. I thought it was actually, as far as a sequel to Jaws could be, it was pretty good. It's not as good as the first one, but I thought it was pretty good. A few things here and there. Nice tension building, except for the, coming out of the bathroom, facing the lamp thing. But other than that, decent enough, I guess. So I'm going to give it 8 out of 10. Thought this was pretty good, especially for a first time watch. Will I ever watch it again? Possibly. Actually, if I'm in a mood for a Jaws double feature, I'm probably going to watch the first one and the second one. I don't think I'm ever going to want to watch the other two again, but I haven't watched them yet. They might be entertaining. Who knows? I have seen the opening to Jaws the Revenge, as I mentioned before, because that scared the crap out of me as a child. But I was a child. I didn't know any better. Still don't. But I really didn't know any better back then. So yeah, it gets 8 out of 10 for me. So what are your thoughts on Jaws 2? Let me know in the comments below. Make sure to like, share, and subscribe. Thank you for watching. I've been Scotty, and I'll see you in the next one as Shark Week continues. And it's Jaws 3, so yay.